talk about your movie, but this
Please.
is very exciting. You're also working on the reboot of Roseanne. You were an
Roseanne.
executive producer.
Can you watch
Roseanne.
Roseanne right now? Yeah.
And
Cool.
you, here's a photo of you on set,
Yep.
which is very exciting.
That's
that
on
it's
the couch.
On the couch. What has it been like?
It's been a nightmare.
Uh-huh.
You've worked with your heroes, or you have to talk to your heroes all the time.
Yes, and at SNL certainly.
So you're
that
talking to
was-
me right now.
This is, and
This
I'm
must
just
be-
barely,
this must be
barely
hard
keeping
for
it together. Obviously, you're a hero of mine. That's why we gave you this paper cup.
That's right. I get a lot of respect around here. You know, for me, I was so excited to work on Roseanne, and I didn't foresee how nervous I'd get around John Goodman.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of John Goodman.
He's the sweetest person
The
on earth.
nicest, the most talented, and it's weird because growing up, he was kind of like my dad, but now I kind of have a crush on him.
Yeah.
It's weird. I have bad thoughts. And I do this thing, I guess, when I get nervous around a celebrity that I'm starstruck by, I just start lying. So I try to just ignore him entirely because I know I'll embarrass myself. But he asked me how my weekend was, which should have been a really quick exchange. And I had been on a book tour at the time, so I was like, oh, I was on a book tour. He's like, where did you go? I was like, oh, I went to Florida, New York, St. Louis. And he was like, well, oh, I'm from St. Louis. And in that moment, I realized I had not been to St. Louis. I was going to St. Louis, but I couldn't say, actually, I just lied to you.
Right.
Like, that was, so I just had to like lean in. And he's like, where did you perform? And I was like, the Pantheon. Because that kind of sounds like a
Sure,
theater.
yes.
Like the
I would
Paramount.
believe there's a Pantheon.
Right, and
Yeah.
he's like, when did that get built? And I'm like, you don't know about the Pantheon? I mean, I'm like making him feel bad for not knowing about St. Louis. And then he's like, where do you stay? And I was like, the Doubletree. And he's like, there's a Doubletree in St. Louis? And I'm like, the one city, there's not a Doubletree. It's the one I like. And now the window has closed for this. And if he watches this show, I am fired. But so somewhere John Goodman's trying to book a hotel at Doubletree that doesn't exist.
And he can't believe he can't get a show at the Athenaeum.
Totally. And like, I'm not good with meeting my heroes. I can't do it. One time, John Cleese, I did something with John Cleese.
That's one
Monty
for me as well.
Python.
Yep.
And he came into my dressing room and we were talking, and I was just like trying to seem cool, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like have a drink of whatever I'm drinking. It was a lit candle. Literally, it gets to here, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, so I don't think I'm designed to be around my heroes.
I want to talk about, so the female brain.
By the way, I didn't bring this out here for that prop. It just worked out that way.
Look, you know what?
I am not a prop comic. I just want you to know I'm getting a migraine, so I brought this out because I need it. Just to be clear.
Oh, well, you know, we all loved the prop bit, and now you ruined it.
Sorry.
Guys, I know you loved how I had the prop. I have a terrible migraine.
And so, my umbrella. I was fortuitous.
So this is based on a book by the same name, The Female Brain. How did you come across the book?
Do you ever shop online and the store you're shopping at, like, judges you with the purchases they suggest?
Yeah. Yes.
My Amazon, the things they suggest to me are so insulting. Like, I'll be like, I need to buy a rubber band. And it's like, did you mean chicken soup for the soul? I'm like, no. So I'm just like buying, I guess I do buy a lot of self-help books, not that I need it. And they kept suggesting, users who bought this item also bought The Female Brain. And I'm like, I should just buy this because they're going to keep harassing me about it. So I finally just bought it. And then I read it, and it was so empowering and interesting, and I was like, I think we should make the movie this. I asked our friend Neil Brennan if he would write it with me.
Neil Brennan, another very funny comedian. You guys have known each other for years.
Created the Chappelle Show with Dave Chappelle. No big deal. Yeah.
How was collaborating? Obviously, this is a film about how the brains are different. You guys have very different brains. How was that?
Yeah, when you write with someone, like especially of the opposite sex, it's like all the negative parts of a relationship and none of the positive parts.
Oh, right.
It was only like, it was just like fighting and driving and no sex or vacationing. So we basically just tried to make it as real as possible, and we put ourselves in situations where we could actually just fight the actual scene out and transcribe it. So we basically just like got paid to fight all day, which
That's
is like,
not bad.
it's like my dream job. Yeah. So we just knocked it out, and you know, Neil, he's the funniest.
Great cast, Sofia Vergara, Cecily Strong, James Marsden. Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is so funny. It's unfair.
Comedy Marvel?
Comedy genius.
Legend in the making?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin, NBA superstar, is way too funny.
It's actually embarrassing
Yeah.
to people whose first job is to do comedy.
Yeah, right.
Like, we're all just like, oh my God, this is bad. This is like his hobby.
Yeah.
He's better at this. So he is such a natural, and like he improvised a lot of it. I can't even take credit for a lot of it. Neil knew him and suggested and made it happen. So
That's great.
I think you'll be very
You
delighted.
are going to make Blake Griffin a different kind of star.
Yeah,
I
like
love it.
he needed some cash. But it's obviously, he was also so tall. Thank God, Cecily, we had to put her in these huge heels just so they could fit in the same frame because Blake is so tall,
Yeah.
it's hard to shoot him. You just see like Blake and like clouds. We had to get all these special things to shoot him. It was pretty funny.
Well done. And always so great to see you, Whitney. Congrats on the movie.